this bit as well, Si, because people, and I know you'll have talked about this, and Bart says before, with Slot coming in, there was a little bit of what are our forwards expected to do? What's the system going to change? And more importantly, the profile, as in what is Slot looking for a number 9? And people looked at Gutierrez, didn't they, in Feyenoord and thought, will that be it? But then is the number 9, he uses that word facilitator, and the wide forward's a little bit different. Is it important when we're comparing these forwards from a stat perspective to talk about what are their tasks, what are their roles within this structure?
I would say so, and I'm not sure. It depends, like the construction of the rest of the players around them at the time. But
yeah,
can we agree that we are more controlled than last season, and 100%. That we like predict a little bit more. We like predictability. I feel like that was our super strength early in the season. Is that each player went through their decision matrix, knowing what somebody else's decision matrix looked like.
True.
And so wherever we were on the pitch, you knew the role of the other player, and you were in going to pursue the ball, to press it, or when you were making a break. We were much less basketball, street ball style than Klopp just letting his lads go and do something brilliant and they'll figure it out. It was like, if we're going from this angle, we're breaking from this angle, and there are these three players should move in these directions, and the ball should end up here. So I think it's fair to say we build typically a little bit in the old James Milner playing left back kind of way, where and Coutinho in midfield a little bit less, because he's less likely to break the pattern. Phil was way more likely to break this pattern by making an incisive pass from the middle than our midfield are. We build at the back. We tend to go left and then come over right as we attack. And for the kill is coming from the right hand side. We're going to bounce a pass. So Mo currently has 17 progressive passes to his 4 attacking teammates, more than they have passes to him combined. So 4 players have fewer combined passes to Mo Salah than Mo on his own has to all 4. So the ball ends up with Mo, and then Mo is our is Pirlo. Mo is the playmaker of how we get into the box. I think it's either comes slightly earlier from Trent, or the flourish is coming from Mo. So that's his role. So we need to get the ball up the pitch. So typically the left hand side is how we carry the ball through the second into the third phase of the pitch. So Diaz typically has high carrying numbers. Gakpo can have high carrying numbers. The forwards this season, much less. They're actually offside less than they were last season, Darwin. But they're dropping deep to either link play, but mostly to commit forward, to commit defenders. So their numbers are going to be off the ball rather than with touches, I would say. So one of the stats that we carry that isn't carried anywhere else, possession control, I think is really pertinent with us, with Liverpool this season, because we want greater possession control. I don't know how much you've listened to UP. So possession control is basically an individual, how many times they get the ball for Liverpool against how many times after having the ball the opposition get it, or the next contact of the ball after their possession. So you can have low possession control if you have really bad passing. Your possession control will go even further down if you're passive in defence and you never get the ball back. Yeah, but if you're a metronome, if you're Fabinho, that you only make 5-yard passes, you have a high passing accuracy, and you also go and get the ball back for Liverpool, then your possession control will be positive. So it's rare to have a positive possession control for a team that has the ball a lot, because they don't lose the ball a lot. Yeah. So a possession control of 6 is really, really valuable. So Rodri has so at their best, Rodri and Fab used to fight in the league over who had the highest possession control between 6 and 9. Until Thiago came in and knocked them out of the water with a 13. But Thiago is a unicorn in this, right? So it's really important that you're going to risk possession control. I like to plot our players on a graph of those 4-quadrant graphs. This is bad radio because I didn't share you this. But the 4-quadrant graphs of possession control, high possession control, low threat, into low possession control, high threat, XT, against both or neither, right? So you're going to have neither with like a goalie, and you're going to have typically your attackers are going to be in the lower possession control, higher XT, and your defenders are going to be in the lower XT, higher possession control. Because if Ibu just passes the ball to Virgil and then he heads ball away, he gets the high possession control, right? So you want your midfield. I think we want our midfield in the 3rd quadrant, decent possession control, and decent expected threat. Yeah, that's where they are. And so we can profile our forwards that way. That I typically that Mo is the extreme. So Mo has 0.57 expected threat. So only Trent is in his quadrant in the first place. Mo and Trent are on their own. Mac is the next nearest an expected threat. And then, but where are those other lads, and where are they when it comes to possession control? And so it's always an equation. How much possession control are you willing to give up for that XT? So Trent has the lowest possession control in the team but he has the highest expected threat in the team. Yeah, because he pings 40-yard passes all the time.
Yeah.
So they have a low probability of finding a Liverpool player, but if they do, we've our expected threat's gone up 0.5. We're going to score, because he's knocking the ball in behind for Mo. Mo has the 2nd highest in the team expected threat. And he also has this. He has per 90. So Trent's per 90 possession control is minus 18. So he loses possession 18 times in the game, right? And that factors in how many times you tackle, how many times you have a bad touch, if you give the ball away with a pass, if you give the ball away by shooting wide. Shooting on target is not, you don't lose possession, even though you do, but it still adds such a value. I don't drop it off that. So you can't penalise a striker for shooting if it's on target. That's how I face it. If you lose a dribble, if you lose an aerial, if you lose a duel, they all come down, right?
Yeah.
So it's normal for Trent to have a low possession control. So mine is 18. Just to preface that Darwin's was minus 28 last year. But Mo has the worst of any of our attackers at minus 15. Right, so it's less than Trent's, but he tries lots of tricky passes. So his number of touches per progressive pass is the lowest of any of the forwards as well. So he has the fewest touches per progressive pass. So he makes the most progressive passes. So that kind of starts to create a profile, and he has the most progressive meters per touch as well. So you get the most attacking output all the time from there. So back to possession control, that we have Diogo is 2nd with 13.9. So you're going to lose possession a lot with Diogo in there. Yeah. But most of that comes from missed shots. And Gakpo's is at minus 12 and Darwin's is at minus 11, which is a big improvement for Darwin.
Yeah.
But he isn't, his progressive meters per touch is the lowest of any of them. So he's not trying any risk. When he does get the ball, he tries no risk other than shooting, and he does get the ball back this season. He's chasing the ball back a lot. Yeah. So he is winning a high number of duels. He's the highest duel rate of win percent of any of our forwards, and he has a high recovery rate when he's on the pitch as well. So the worst of those is Mo, but the trade off is so high for Mo.
Yeah.
That Gakpo's and Diogo's and Diaz has the best possession control of any of our forwards, which kind of makes sense. He gets the ball, carries it a lot, and then just knocks it back to Robbo. He is not making any progressive passes, is he? Though recently, I think we've seen a few switches, which have been really welcome, and he actually used to do that. When he first arrived, his possession control was minus 17, but his expected threat was 0.5. he was doing stuff which caused threat, and he's safety first. And I think with this season we've got 3 or 4 of those who are much more safety first, so their possession control's down a bit, but I'm not sure if their XT is high enough to welcome that, because I'm not sure we have enough in midfield that's causing enough XT for that. Even though we're top of the league and we've scored 50.
Yeah. Crazy that though, isn't it? You would think, and I know it's a risk reward type model, but yeah, the safety first, and I get that, and we keep the ball, and it's right to talk about possession control, but we are talking about attackers, and you do just wonder if it should be a little higher. But hey ho, those are the stats, people. And this one, everyone talks about this one side. It seems to be a big focus, I always think, conversion rate. You hear it on shows, you hear Opta talking about it. Conversion rate is a big factor. What are these forwards looking like this season?
So conversion rate, I use the next level conversion rate rather than shots. How many of your shots get converted? Because I'm not entirely sure how much of that. I'm not entirely sure how much of that tells us a story. So you can have shot accuracy. Which is one thing, but if I pass the ball to the goalie every time I get a shot, I get 100% shot accuracy. And what is that telling us? Yeah. So if we look at, we've talked about the XG against post-shot XG, which is the thing I think is defining, but this is the level below that, which I think it makes it easier for people to understand, right? So the graphic you have on screen is the Liverpool careers, a rolling 19-game average of the Liverpool careers of each of our forwards, right? So this is the white line across all of those is the XG. So the chance quality, the chance value, the probability of scoring from their chance versus the actual outcome, the goal. Did their chance go in? Yeah. So if you zoom into red to show Mo's, there we go, as close as is going down the left. You can see on the left there where 17-18, when he was the best player in the world, not called Messi, and he so outstripped his XG. But pretty much for most of his Liverpool career, he's above the XG line with his goals, and he a tiny bit dropped below from lesser periods of stuff that gets in the way of being a footballer at Liverpool and COVID and all that kind of stuff. But he's never far away, and he's nearly always over. Right? Then Jota has been through periods. He's around XG for his Liverpool career, but so he overperforms XG his entirety by two goals. He scored 2 goals more than his XG in his entire Liverpool career, which is okay. It's nice. I'm fine with a striker scoring his expected goals. Yeah. Mo has scored 48 more than his expected goals over his 8-year career. Right. So I'm fine with Jota, but you can see how Jota is streaky, and he currently he started at the beginning of the season overperforming his expected goals, and then by the end, currently he is consistently underperforming. It is what it is. If you look at Diaz, Diaz was right along the lines of marginally below his XG. For his career, but that's the kind of thing you would accept. And then he had this jump at the beginning of the season where he was brilliant, and then it's just come back down to earth. And he's currently, I think he scored a couple recently, so he's a tiny bit above. He scored a couple of low quality chances, which pushes him above. But it's fairly streaky. But I think that's acceptable if. It will be acceptable to me if the thing we haven't talked about is that these are all that each line is 1 XG. So there are 5 possible on each graph. Yeah, and his is just too low as a whole for my liking as a Liverpool forward. So I would like it all above that second line for sure. And then we so over his career, sorry, I have his. There we go. Right, so over his career, he is 1.7 below his XG. Yeah, which is not the best. Then we can move on to, so these are in order of who signed for who's been at Liverpool longest. Then we have Darwin. Yeah, that just needs a little bit of looking at. I don't even need to talk about it. It really surprised me. People think I'm down on Darwin, but it's just because the stats over the time, there are always these moments that persuade you one way or another. And there have been too many moments that I've tracked. And going back to the high quality chances, last season there was a big run of them. High quality chances when the other big thing that's been talked about this week, game stakes. When I call them big goals. So when it changes the game state towards the Liverpool perspective, so there might be one goal behind, level, or to go ahead, right? Those things that Darwin missed way too many of those big chances when the game was on the line last season, like 19. That's just too many. And he had the record in the league for missing the most big chances. But if you take big chances out and just look at that, he's always underperformed his goals. So it's just very, very frustrating over the course of where he's been at. And then so he's the only consistent one, and the consistent in the wrong way. And then you have Gakpo, who is probably the second brightest. So he's had two significant periods for Liverpool where he's outperforming his XG. If he can continue the second curve, which is where he was up to his injury recently, that is where Liverpool win. Like, then he's a legitimate second forward, second attacking threat, and that's where we kind of need. That's kind of Mane level per goal or assist, where Mane at his best was performing. So if we can get to that, like 115 per goal or assist, that will be amazing. If we so this season, just to contextualize where everybody sits, that Cody in all comps is 99 minutes per goal or assist.
Nice.
Like Mane is like Mane was like I think Mane was 123 over his Liverpool career. At his best 105. So this is below that, but also we have to preface this with that a lot of Gakpo's goals came in the Carabao.
Yeah.
So you can't use that because nobody actually cares. As much as I bitch about it, they don't. Most teams aren't. We played our reserve goalie in the final. So that's context for this. Lucho is 127. So that, you see what I'm saying about Mane-esque? That's kind of around that. And Diogo's only dropped to 107 minutes per goal or assist, but he had such a good run early in the season where he was in 80 minutes per, but it's dropped off a cliff. That's dropped down now, which normalizes the whole season down to. It's still a really good season. You're going to take that, but we don't have any big midfielders that score a ton, though. Curtis Jones is currently at Phil Coutinho levels of goals and assists. So he has a goal or assist every 190 minutes. So it's only 2.5 games. But again, that's bumped up by Carabao.
Wow. Just honestly, for those who can't see it as well, if you could literally, if you don't have YouTube and you're not watching, so apologise that, but it would literally be, Alexa, show me Streaky, and that could literally profile 3 or so of our forwards. Darwin Núñez well below, and on the complete opposite end of the trajectory, people, for this is Mo Salah.
Yeah, that's why it made me so angry last season when people were disputing one thing and suggesting the other should be the main source of our attack. It never made any sense. So to contextualize, we played 47 games this season.
Yeah.
Mohamed Salah has a goal or assist in 32. He has 54 goal or assists. Gakpo is second with 21. and he's done it in 15 games. So of 47, a third of them, Gakpo has a goal or assist. Diaz has a goal or assist in 12. Darwin has in 11. Diogo has in 10. Mo Salah, 32. It's just hard to quantify. Mo has 29 big goal or big assists in 47 games. That's their defining goal or assists so 29, and that is as many as Darwin, Diogo, and Gakpo combined.